Hi FlossTube, it's Jen from Delicious Threads. Today is Tuesday, August 2nd, and this is my end of July update. I actually had more time to stitch than I thought I would. I tried to squeeze a little bit in each night, and there were some nights where I wasn't successful because I was tired after we worked out, or it was a long day, or I was busy making needle minders. But I did manage to stitch more days than not, which is an accomplishment for me right now. And I made more progress than I thought I would, and I'm really happy about it. So let's see what I was stitching. The first project I worked on was my Once Upon a Time sampler, and I was working on July. And last time I had the butterfly, the lily pad, and the cattails done. So I was able to finish everything else up. And if you remember, last time I also commented about how I had to frog a bunch of my dark green and restitch it. Well, this time I managed to do everything correctly and I didn't have to restitch anything. Time goes fast, or you're able to get a lot more done if you don't have to pull stitches out. So I was tempted to work on the border some more, but I decided to go ahead and leave that for now and just stitch on it later when I have more time, because I don't need them done right now. I do have, here's the whole project so far. I do have some more border on that side to get back to, and then nothing at the bottom is done. So I'll probably have to start working on some of the border before I get to that last row for October, November, December. But for now, it's working. So this month, I'm working on August, and as you can see, a bunch of it's already done. So I think I did this when I was working on it originally in 2014, when I was trying to get caught up with everybody else. And the little bits of pink I actually stitched a couple months ago when they were doing the Color a Day challenge for Stitch Mania, and it was a pink day. But all the other stuff was stitched before. So hopefully that means that I can get August done quickly this month so that I have more time on my other projects. And I have a little flying pig needle minder for my shop. Love that little piggy. The next project I worked on was Soda Stitch's alphabet learning. This is what that looks like. Remember, I'm leaving the letters off the bottom, so it's just going to be the images and the names. And I think last time you saw this, I had the dark blue for the nose or the mouth, whatever that is, the pink cheeks, and the whites of the eyes, and like a little bit of blue over here. So I finished the whole little motif. So the little octopus, I almost forgot his bubbles, but I did remember to put those in before I was done, and octopus. So I started this little octopus 2 months ago. And I did the math. If it takes me 2 months to finish a letter, I'm not going to finish this until September of 2018. So I have vowed to try to stitch at least one a month, so that it'll only take me like a year instead, or a year and a half. I don't know. But I'm really kind of hoping to be able to get more than one a month done. The motifs are really small overall, but it's just squeezing it in with all the other stitching. So I don't know which letter I'll do next, but it'll be something near O. I've got my little metal bobbin. There's actually a little story for this. This design, I'm just gonna, if you want to know more, you can go to wildolive.blogspot.com and I'll link it down below. The designer, Mollie Johanson, that's her website. She runs Wild Olive. There's an Etsy shop. She sells online through her blog, and she creates really adorable embroidery patterns, and she has printables and other sorts of projects that involve like sewing and making little felt animals and stuff, but most of her designs have this signature little cute happy face. And this was her design for a printable that she made a couple years ago for floss bobbins, so you could print them out and cut them and put your floss on them. And this design was stolen by somebody in China, and they started mass producing these metal pendants. And I did not realize that it was her design and that it was a stolen design when I purchased them for my shop. I have them in like 5 different colors. And she noticed when I put them up and contacted me and said, "Hey, Jen, just so you know, this is a stolen design. I don't think that you knew that, but I really appreciate it if you wouldn't buy any more of these from the manufacturers because they refuse to stop making them and they refuse to stop stealing my work." So, of course, I absolutely was like, "Yes, I promise I will not buy any more." And she said, "Please go ahead and sell what you have because I don't want you to be penalized for not knowing." So I was very thankful that she's letting me finish selling these, but it is a stolen design. And I've marked everything saying that it's Mollie's design, and I know other people sell these too, and they should have it marked that it's Mollie Johanson's design from Wild Olive. And if they don't, they may not realize, but they are selling stolen artwork. So if you want to read more about her story and her struggle with trying to fight the people that stole her artwork, you can read about it on her blog. And like I said, I'll link it down below for you. The next piece I worked on is my Zodiac Sampler. And I do not remember which Zodiac character this one is, but it's June. And I managed to finish the small frame and about 2/3 of this larger frame. And I am notorious for miscounting these frames and having to frog stuff and restitch sometimes multiple times, but so far this month I have stitched everything correctly. So hopefully this one will all match up and then I can get to the character soon. And this is my little Hermione fabric button needle minder. And this all folded up so you can't see everything, but I'm really liking this one. One thing I really like about this project is that each of these larger frames are different on the outsides. So I think that's a really neat touch. My last whip that I'm currently working on, I actually didn't do any more work on since last time you saw it. I'm still going to show it to you because the next part of the pattern has been released. So it's the Lakeside Needlecraft Fantasy Stitch Along, and I have only done 3 of the 12 circles. Like I said, this is the same as what I had done before. And the frames and the border came out on July 1st, and the first character, which is going to go right here, was released yesterday. And since I am in the US and I am in California, so like I'm behind everybody pretty much, I got my pattern on the 31st at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I wish I had been able to stitch some of it up. My original plan was to just start stitching it because I was excited, but I ran out of time because I was filling needle minder orders. I actually haven't stitched in 2 days because I've been filling needle minder orders, which is an awesome problem to have, but I really want to do some stitching, so maybe tonight. So the first design is this cute little Pegasus. Isn't that adorable? I love all the little details, the rainbow, I love the butterflies. I don't know, I'm really excited to stitch this one up. And August is my birth month, so I kind of like all things August. So I might have been completely in love with this one no matter what. There we go. So I'm going to stitch that one, and hopefully next time I'll have it finished so you can see it. And I've got a little glittery leaf, and it has like this little iridescent rainbow to it. I thought that would look really nice with this pattern. If you haven't joined the Stitch Along, it is not too late. Like I said, it just started. We just got the first character. These rings stitch up really fast. So check it out. If you want to hang out in the group and see what everyone is doing and the fabrics that they've chosen, I'll put a link down to the Facebook Stitch Along page. But it's a lot of fun, and people are doing some really neat things. Most people are stitching on kind of like hand-dyed. Some people are stitching on just like white, and there's somebody stitching on black, and it looks really cool. So come by and check those out. So that's it for my whips and kind of my plans too. So the first thing I'd like to do this month with my stitching is work on my monthly stitch-alongs, and then hopefully I can get at least one more letter done on my alphabet learning sew to stitch pattern. And then I also have a new project that I want to start, and I talked about it last time. I'm hoping I can start this month because it's going to take a while. And it's the giant Harry Potter. It's going to be very large. And part of my haul this month, or the end part of the month, is the fabric for it. I've also got some needle minders picked out. So these are my platform 9 3/4 needle minders. I have a bunch of Harry Potter needle minders, so I'll probably just cycle through those. I like to change it up every now and then. So this is going to be for my sister, and I let her pick the fabric. Originally, we were talking about it, and she really wanted to do something like a parchment color, so like a light tan or like a mottled tan color. And I was a little worried about the banners. And as you can see, the banners are kind of like a cream color. I think they're like ecru or something similar to that. And I was worried about that blending in with a parchmenty color. So I spent a bunch of time looking on Instagram and in the Facebook groups at other Heels projects to see how things looked on different kinds of fabric. And I was still having a hard time finding or figuring out what a good parchment color would be, because some were too light or some were really dark, and I just wasn't sure. So eventually I ended up just sending some examples to my sister with stitching the project on like a cream color or like a parchment, on gray, and on a light blue. And I really liked the light blue, so I kind of put a little thing there saying, hey, I think things look really nice on the light blue, and it makes everything, all the images stand out. What do you think? And when I got her message back saying, I like the light blue, go ahead and do that, I was really excited. So I ordered my fabric. This is 32 count light blue Lugana, and this is huge. This piece is 36 by 55, so it's a full yard. So I'm gonna have to cut it down. Hopefully I don't screw it up when I cut it. We'll see. Oh, another haul that I didn't tell you about. When Amazon had Prime Day, I got myself a serger. So I'm gonna be able to professionally serge, well, semi-professionally, because I'm not a professional, but I can use an actual serging machine instead of my sewing machine. But I'm going to be able to serge my fabric pieces before I dye them and if I cut them down, because they do fray. So, excited about that. I also got, and I'm not going to show you these individually because it would take too long and it doesn't really matter. I got all the beads and the Kreinik for my Mermaid Mara. I'm planning to stitch for myself Mermaids of the Deep Blue, and I'm not planning to start that anytime soon. I want to stitch my gifts for my sisters and my mom first, and then finish up my year-long sals as well before I start stitching this for myself. But I wanted to go ahead and have everything so that when I'm ready to go, I have everything I need. And I spent a little bit of time on eBay and 123 Stitch so that I could get this whole set. I got all 12 designs for Hands-On Designs Year and Chalk. And I got half of them on eBay for a really good price. And then I filled in the gaps through 123 Stitch. And at the time that I got them, they actually had these on sale. It wasn't a big sale, but they were on sale, so I was able to fill in the gaps easily. So I'm excited to have all these. I say I'm excited a lot. Sorry. I'm happy that I have all of these. I like that they are smaller projects. I think these would be really good to just have kitted up and ready to go, like as I walk out the door. Maybe I can stitch these while the kids are in swim class or martial arts, or in the car if we're going somewhere for the weekend. So I think I'll probably do that. And a couple videos ago I showed you some fabric that I dyed, a dark gray color, and that's what I'm planning to use for this. I didn't buy the called for fabric, so I'm just going to try to use my own. I'm not positive that I want to use the fabric I dyed because I'm a little bit worried that it's too purple. So I'm going to have to take a look at it again. I'm also not using the gassed threads that the patterns call for. I'm planning to just use DMC. I have not decided if I'm going to use hand-dyed floss for the colorful bits, if I'll just pick a DMC color that's close to it. Or there's always the possibility that I might hand dye some myself because I have a bunch of white DMC that I can dye. So that's going to be a fun one. Oh, also I am planning to display it similarly to this. I don't really like the colors in the ribbon or the wood color here. I don't know what I do. But I am planning to hang it in a similar way where it's on like a plank of wood and it's hung up. And Hands On Design on their website has directions for how to finish these pieces. And the way that they finish the backside is that they add Velcro, and then there's Velcro on the wood board as well. So these are interchangeable, and you can just pop them off and then pop the next month on. So I am planning to finish mine in a similar way because I think that's fun, and it'll make it much easier to display those year round. The last thing I got, I am blaming a bunch of people on Facebook and in these FlossTube videos. I tried to resist getting this pattern, but after seeing lots of people posting their progress, I couldn't resist anymore. So I got Death by Cross Stitch. Isn't that pretty? This is going to take a long time to stitch. People have been like blazing through it though, so maybe it doesn't take as long as it seems like it would. And I haven't gotten fabric for it yet. I'm thinking that I might dye my own. I have a bunch of 28 count even weave, and so I was thinking that maybe I would dye that and then stitch 1/1 because then it'll be a little bit smaller. I don't want it to be a huge piece. Right now I'm leaning toward a turquoisey color for the fabric, and then I'm planning to stitch in black. But I'm not sure that turquoise will fit with where I might hang it up, and so I don't know if I want to stitch on turquoise because I feel like stitching on turquoise. I think it'll be pretty, or if I want to pick a color that I think will look nicer with the things that we already have in our house so that I'm more likely to hang it up. I don't know. What do you think? What would you do? So for the black, I was originally planning to just use black DMC. I have a huge spool of it. But then I saw somebody on Facebook stitching it in silks, and it looked really pretty. So I actually bought a hank of hand-dyed black silk thread. So that's not here yet. I'll show it to you when it comes in. I've never had a full hank of floss like that, and I haven't really stitched with silks yet, so I'm a little nervous about the learning curve and stitching with silks, especially jumping into like a big project like this with silks. So I'm still thinking about it, but if I decide to go that route, I will have the silks for it. So enablers. I need to stay off of FlossTube, and I need to stay off of Facebook because every time I watch a video or I check to see what people are up to in the groups, I end up buying another project. So stop me, please. So August is kind of a busy month for us. We have family that will be visiting, my birthday, our anniversary, my husband's birthday, and my two older kids both have school starting at the end of the month. So there's a lot going on. I'm really hoping that I can keep up with the progress that I've been able to make in July and kind of keep that momentum going. And I'm hoping I'll have lots to show you. My next update will be mid-August. So until then, happy stitching.